Good morning, children. Let's start our block 3, cultivating crops. And the LP1 is stages of cultivation. And the key words are cultivation and crops. Cultivation is the act of caring for and raising plants. And the crops are the cultivated plants which are grown in a large scale. Do you know, children, there are crores of people living in India. Where do they get food from? How is food grown on such a large scale? Children, all the cereals, fruits and vegetables that we use as food are called crops. Farmers grow or cultivate crops in large amounts to sell to other people. Now let's see the stages in cultivation. Plowing. Here the farmers loosen the soil with the help of a plow. They usually use animals or machines to plow fields. Manure or fertilizers are then added and seeds are planted. Planting of seeds or seedlings is called sowing. Fields are regularly watered to help the seeds germinate or sprout. Water also helps the crops to grow. Farmers remove weeds from time to time because they compete with the crops for nutrients, water and sunlight. And when the crop ripens, the farmers harvest and sell it. Children, let's see the flow chart of cultivation of crops. Preparation of soil, sowing of seeds, manuring, irrigation, harvesting and storage. Children, what will happen if any stage is skipped? Skipping any one stage will affect the amount of crop harvested. Suppose, children, if you skip the plowing stage, then you cannot loosen the soil, which helps the seeds to get enough air to sprout or germinate. Manure and fertilizers add nutrients to the soil, which helps the plants to grow. Children, why are pesticides sprayed on crops? Actually, children, spraying pesticides helps to keep the pests away from the crops so that they do not destroy them. Now let's see a small video on this.
The cultivation of crops involves the following steps. 1. Preparation of soil. 2. Sowing of seeds. 3. Adding manures and fertilizers. 4. Irrigation. 5. Weeding. 6. Harvesting. 7. Threshing. And 8. Storage. Agriculture is the chief occupation of people in India. Farmers follow a set of practices in growing of crops. The first step in this regard is the preparation of soil. This method usually involves loosening and tilling of the soil. This allows the roots to penetrate deep into the soil and helps in the growth of microbes and earthworms that enrich the soil with essential nutrients. It also brings the nutrient-rich soil to the top. The second step is the sowing of seeds in the field. The next step is the addition of manure and fertilizers to the soil. Then comes irrigation of the field. The crops are watered at regular intervals throughout their growing period. Then comes weeding. The weeds are removed, either manually, or by using machines. After the crops are fully grown, comes the process of harvesting. The cutting and gathering of a mature crop is called harvesting, or reaping. Then comes threshing, that is, separating the seeds from the chaff. The grains are finally filled in sacks, and stored in godowns and warehouses.
Children, do we need to follow the same steps when we grow crops in our kitchen garden? Actually, children, most steps will remain the same, but we will not use the same techniques. We will not use animals or machines to plow the garden, and also will not use machines to harvest the crops as well. Let's see the textbook, children. Our third block, cultivating crops. Cultivating crops. All living organisms require food. Plants can make their food themselves. Animals and humans cannot make their own food. We get our food from plants or animals or both. When plants of the same kind are grown and cultivated at one place on a large scale, it is called a crop. For example, a crop of wheat means that all the plants grown in a field are that of wheat. Crops are of different types: cereals, pulses, vegetables, and fruits. Stages in cultivating crops. Crops are cultivated in several stages: ploughing or tilling. The soil is loosened and turned with the help of a plough or tool or machine. Ploughing allows the seed to get air needed to germinate and the roots to penetrate deep into the soil. Sowing. Seeds are planted in the soil either by hand, by traditional machines like funnels, or by modern seed drills. Manuring. Continuous growing of crops makes the soil poorer in certain nutrients. Manure has to be added to the fields to replenish the soil with nutrients. Irrigation. This means watering the crops. The time and how often the fields need to be irrigated depends upon the type of crop. Soil and season. The sources of irrigation are wells, tube wells, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams, and canals. Weeding. Weeds are unwanted plants that naturally grow along with the crop. It is necessary to remove weeds because they compete with the crops for water, nutrients, space, and light. Weeding can be done manually using tools or by spraying certain chemicals on the field. Harvesting. Crops are cut when they are mature. The method of harvesting depends upon the type of crop. It can be done manually using tools or by using machines. Now, let's watch a small video on removal of weeds. Now for book part. The first question is, number the stages of cultivation in correct order. The first has been done. That is, children, we have seen the flow chart of cultivation of crops, and here you have to write the numbering. That is, first one they have written 1 for ploughing. So likewise you have to write the numbers for like sowing, irrigation. You have to just number it, children, near to that pictures. Okay. Now second question is, write the names of each stage involved in cultivating the crops. Children, the first question you have given the numbering. That is, for ploughing you have written 1 there. So you have to write the names of the stages, children, in the second question. Like harvesting, irrigation, wherever it needs, you have to write that particular name, children. Okay, I am giving you the time. Write the names. I hope children you have written the answer. Now move on to our last question children, that is how is plowing, sowing and weeding different for crops grown in mud pots than the crops grown in the fields. Children, we know that the crops which are grown in the fields are in large scale compared to mud pots, and the tools which we use in fields and in our homes, that is mud pots, are different. You have to write those things here children. Think and write. I am giving you the time. Okay. Think how we remove the weeds in the field and weeds in the mud pots children. I hope you have written the answer children. Thank you children.